Well, it's 5 Minute Friday. Let's get started and head home. It is bright today. Not a cloud in the sky over here. For this week's 5 Minute Friday, I wanted to talk about weld tests. And the reason I wanted to talk about doing weld tests is because I had to do a couple of them this week. And a couple things kind of, just kind of bothered me a little bit here and there. So I don't know where I'm going to go with this, but let's put 5 minutes on the clock and see what happens. My nose is still a little stuffed up, and my voice is a little funky. I had a really nice, deep James Earl Jones voice this morning. It'd be nice if it would stick around. But, so this week I had to take a 2-inch Schedule 80 carbon steel 6G pipe test. And the reason I had to take that was because we figured out that I wasn't certified to do some of the work that we needed to do. So I just was like, well, why don't I just go ahead and take the 6G test? And that started a little bit of an argument with, well, maybe you should just do a 5G and don't do a 6G. And you can listen to the podcast that we did recently about that, 6G versus 5G. But I just said, let's just do the 6G and be done with it. Don't have to worry about anything. So kind of bypassed the welding engineer and just went ahead and did it. So something a guy told me a while back when taking a weld test and all is, and I thought it was interesting, is don't be afraid of the metal. It's just metal. It's just a test. Pass, fail. Not a big deal. And a lot of people get so bent out of shape and they get so nervous and they get so, particular about everything. It's like, take your time, do it right, do what you know is right. Don't let a manager rush you. Don't let a manager tell you you can't do this, you can't do that. Do what you know is right and do that. Now, if they have a specific procedure that you have to follow, obviously you follow that. But follow it to a T. And if you want to go outside of that a little bit, ask. If they're not allowing you to wipe something down with acetone or something, or use a file or whatever, just ask before you do it. It's not a big deal. But the reason I wanted to talk about this was because the first test that I took, I failed. And one of the reasons I failed, I was told it was lack of fusion, but what I think it really was I didn't let the part cool down enough in between each pass. And the reason was because my manager was eyeballing me all day long when I was doing this test, and these parts would get super hot. I mean, stupid hot. So I'd wait for them to cool down to, 125, 150 degrees, because they'd get up to 350, 400 degrees. And I'm using my TIG finger and everything, but I'm still burning my knuckles up just from the heat coming off the torches and everything. And I'm just like, I just gotta let this cool off. And he doesn't like any indirect time at all, regardless if it's a test you have to take or anything. And the result of that was I failed. So then I had another set of tests that I was going to do, same test, just another set of coupons. And I took my time, I let the part cool down, and let it cool all the way down to, like I said, 150 to 125 degrees between each pass. Lo and behold, passed. So take your time, do what you know is right. Don't let a manager rush you or tell you you don't need to, you don't need to prep your material. Just throw it together and go. But don't get so wrapped up in everything where you get really nervous, because if you get super nervous when you're doing a test like that, 9 times out of 10 you're probably going to dip your tungsten. and depending on the test, probably going to fail. So just take your time, do what you know is right, prep your material, wipe everything down, be mindful of where you're putting your wire, clean your table off, just do the proper steps, and if you do everything you know is right, it'll probably come out just fine. And if you push it and you don't let things cool off, you don't do what you know is right, like I did on the very first one, it'll probably fail. So it's up to you. Like I said, that the guy told me, don't be afraid of it. Just do what you know is right, and generally it all comes out just fine in the end. So I don't know if you got anything out of this 5 Minute Friday, but it was something that was on my mind and in my heart that I thought it would be a good thing to share and let you know that I fail tests. I've failed a few of them at this job. The pipe tests, I've never done 6G pipe tests before, so I expect to fail a few of them. I do, honestly, deep within me, I feel that one failed because I didn't let it cool off enough between passes because I was being rushed. So, like I said, hopefully you got something out of this. Hopefully, if you are in taking weld tests at work, your managers are cool and they let you take your time, or everything is prepped and ready for you, because we had to cut our own coupons and prep them and all this stuff, and then they're like, why did it take so long? Give me the material. But so hopefully you like this one. Hopefully you got something out of it. If you've got any questions you'd like to hear for a future 5 Minute Friday, leave them in the comments or over on the forum, and we'll catch you next week.